Welcome back to the podcast. Before we jump into today's conversation, I wanted to give you a quick overview of what's coming up because this one's a really enjoyable episode. Today, I'm joined by Walker, and we cover everything from his life upbringing in North Carolina, how his sport shaped his life through his passion for running, discipline, personal growth, and the mindset that's driving him towards some incredibly ambitious goals. One of the things I enjoyed most about this conversation is just how self aware Walker is. We talk about the differences between motivation and discipline, why consistency always beats short bursts of inspiration, the pressures that comes with social media, and what success really means, and even his biggest fear, not reaching the life he knows he's capable of creating. Despite his age, which is 21 years old, he has a remarkable level of maturity, humility, and determination. And I came away genuinely excited to see where his journey takes him over the next few years. If you have enjoyed the conversations about performance, mindset, resilience, and hearing stories behind people chasing big ambitions, then I think you're really going to get something from this episode. Before we get started, I really appreciate your support though. If you're listening on Spotify, please hit the follow button and leave a rating if you've been enjoying the podcast so far. If you're watching on YouTube, make sure you subscribe, like the video, and turn notifications so you never miss a future episode. Those simple actions make a huge difference. They help the podcast reach new listeners and tell the platforms that people are enjoying these conversations, and ultimately allows me to keep bringing incredible guests and meaningful stories to the show. Thank you so much for your support. Now, let's get into the conversation with Walker. Welcome back to another episode of Life Interview in Their Shoes. Today we have Walker. Thanks for coming on, Walker. I appreciate your time.
Of course.
I mean, I don't know you too well, so I'm really keen to get to know you and understand a little bit about you. And I think the connection I found was through running, so I'd love to have a chat about that as well. But let's dig into going back to the start. So, tell me about your childhood, Walker. What was that like?
Yeah, so I'm originally from North Carolina, which is, they don't know, it's like on the southern part of the U.S., East Coast. So I grew up in a small town. I grew up, was always very like into sports and everything, but I was mainly into soccer. So I basically played
Oh,
soccer. That was my whole life since about the time I was, I'm gonna say 8 or 9. Really started taking that serious, and spent all my time really training for that for 10 years. And I moved away actually for high school. So my family's from North Carolina, but I got an opportunity. I got scouted to go to this like sports school academy type thing when I was about 14. So
okay.
going into high school. And so I got a scholarship to go there for soccer with the dream of one day going pro in soccer. But then from that sports school, I guess I kind of got recruited to go play Division 1 soccer in the U.S. and I did that for about a year and a half before I just kind of decided it wasn't for me anymore.
Fair enough. What made you decide that it wasn't for you anymore?
I was more there for soccer than school. And so I actually played goalie, which is really funny considering I'm into running now because the goalie doesn't run very much. But yeah, I
Yeah.
was a number two, and if you only in goalie, only one person plays, so it doesn't matter if you're the backup. And it wasn't really going the way I liked.
Mm.
Like I said, I was just more there for soccer than school, so I was like, you know what, I'm gonna just drop out and kind of start working and see where everything takes me. And that's when I really started to fall in love with running. Is after I dropped out of school and stopped playing soccer for a little bit. Was just like kind of in the gym, and I was like, I need something, some kind of
Yeah.
cardio, something to do. And then I started running, and that's really how I fell in love with running.
That's great. And how was that transition in between from leaving soccer to then running? Was it difficult to kind of come to terms with the fact that you won't be doing it?
Yeah, it was definitely difficult. So I dropped out about my halfway through my sophomore year, and for probably 3 or 4 months, like I just worked out. I definitely put on some weight, and I was just unhappy with myself. And then I started running, and it definitely was pretty challenging at first, especially after putting on a little bit of weight. But because I'd been training
Mm,
soccer or some kind of activity for basically 10 plus years of 2 hours, I'm gonna say 6 days a week at least of some kind of physical activity, you don't really lose your fitness. It's kind of there, but you just got to get it back. And so I found it in about a month or two. I was able to really feel like very strong with where I was at and running and be kind of, I would say, farther ahead than most people. They're just
yeah.
like starting out and stuff. So I think that was definitely an advantage for me.
Nice. And where does that competitive spirit come from? Like, are your parents? Do you have siblings? Are they competitive?
Yes, so I'm the youngest boy. I have three sisters, and both of my two of my sisters, well, all of them played sports growing up. But my dad really instilled in me like if you want to be the best at something, uh, it really just takes time and work, and you just got to want it more than everybody else. Really, like there's no reason to put limitations on yourself before you actually try and go do it. Like you should have self belief in yourself more than anybody else, no matter what.
That's great. That's great that your parents instilled that in you from an early age.
Yeah, for sure.
And
They definitely like taught me that anything I wanted to do, I could go do. That it was really just up to me.
yeah, nice. And your parents, they're still around?
Um, yes, sir. I live with them right now, and
Nice.
they're both super great. They support me in everything I do, and yeah, my dad, he played college baseball for a little bit before dropping out, and my mom is just um, one of the hardest workers I know. So
That's awesome. Yeah, it's cool. I feel like the US is because I'm now originally from the UK, but now in Australia, and I feel like Australia is similar in the sense of it's quite a multi-sport country where I feel like the UK there is a lot of sports, but it's very dominated by
yeah,
soccer.
soccer.
Yeah,
Yeah, definitely.
no, that's really cool. And what would you say it was like the biggest lessons that you've learned from your parents?
Um, I would say probably the biggest lesson I've learned from them is I would just say like hard work and like determination, and especially like I'm gonna use the word like grit.
Hmm,
Just because like I've had setbacks several times, but at the end of the day, like they really instilled in me that it really is up to me to pick myself up and get back going again. Like nobody else can come and save you from whatever you're going through whenever you feel bad for yourself. Like it's really small moments every single day that you can either choose to better yourself or choose to worsen yourself. Like it really just comes down to a bunch of small moments and small choices that
that's awesome.
determine where you're going to go in your life. And I
No,
feel like they really helped me like realize that,
that's
especially over
really
the
cool.
past like few years. Yeah.
That's really cool. No, that's cool. Your parents sound like yeah, a really cool couple, and yeah, especially with they must have had their hands full managing 4 kids.
Oh, definitely. It was definitely conquer and divide growing up. Me and my, me and my dad would mainly go to soccer, like I said, growing up before I went off to that boarding school. And my mom would take my sisters and stuff to dance and all kinds of stuff. So they would work all day, and then as soon as they get off work, they're picking us up, taking us to various practices. So it was really nonstop growing up, but I wouldn't change it a thing.
Nice. Oh, that's so good to hear. And what was school like?
So school, it was, so originally I just went to public school for elementary school, and middle school, and that was all right. Gave me, it wasn't too difficult, so it gave me like, a lot of time to focus on like athletics and stuff because I could kind of coast through school pretty easily. But then when I got, the opportunity through soccer to go to this school in Minnesota, um, which is it was just kind of like a I'm gonna say it's a college and high school
Mm,
essentially. It's a big sports school, but that was life changing for me because everything is right there. Your school, your athletics. So I've stayed there basically 8 9 months out of the year, and only would go home on holidays, and having everything within walking distance of each other, which is super rare in America, is just it was honestly
mm,
life changing to really for 4 years just really hone in on what I was about at that time, which was soccer, 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 and just perfect my craft. And it honestly, more than even the soccer, it taught me a bunch of life lessons, having to grow up maybe quicker than most kids. When I'm 14 years old, I mean, I'd come home from a soccer game. We'd get home at 1 or 2 a.m. And I'm like, man, I got to do my laundry tonight. Like, where are my parents? They're not here. I'm living by myself at 14. Like, you got to do it. So it definitely made me mature a lot quicker, I would say, than most kids, for sure.
yeah, I, I bet. Did you feel, because I played a lot as well when I was younger. Um, I just remember sometimes because I got to a level where I'm playing for, like the state equivalent. And I felt like sometimes the enjoyment almost got lost a little bit, and it became more of a, I guess, like the pressure was quite overwhelming. Did you ever feel like that at the kind of level that you played?
Yeah, I would definitely say I didn't really feel that way as much in high school. Um, and I was playing in the top league for well, it's high school, but for club soccer in America, like academy soccer, I was in the top league. So I was playing MLS teams, academies, so, surrounded by scouts for college and stuff. But I didn't really feel that like pressure. I would say more till like college, and I definitely when I got to college kind of stopped enjoying it as much, for
Mm,
sure. But I'm not sure if it was a pressure or just like not really being like not playing and stuff like that, because obviously the most fun part about goalie especially is going to be playing in the games, and when I didn't play for 2 years I kind of just lost the passion and the love for the game a little bit.
yeah, that's tough. That's tough. And did you have any significant friends or influencers as a kid?
um I would say probably my dad has been my like biggest influence in my life, cuz like he's just like never doubted me, and like anything I'm telling you, anything that I wanted to do in this like world or life, he has like set it out to help me achieve that and try and achieve that. And he sometimes believes in me more than I believe in myself, and that's just like been huge for me and everything I've wanted to do, like having someone that close to me who kind of believes in you even when you don't believe in yourself, kind of thing.
Mm, that's awesome. That's really cool. Did you like yourself as a kid, or did you? I don't know if
um
you ever.
I honestly, as a kid, I mean, I didn't like hate myself or anything,
Yeah.
but as a kid, I was like kind of fat, and that was kind of always like I don't know. I didn't like that about myself. But as I got a little older and really started taking soccer seriously, I thinned out, leaned out, everything. But as a
Yeah.
kid, I did not like that about myself. But I was
Yeah.
pretty. I would say I was a pretty happy kid. Like I was nice to everybody. I didn't really know a stranger. I've always been a. I could talk to anybody. My mom always told like joked and be like, if the brick wall would talk back to him, he would talk to it.
Yeah, nice. Okay. And so I guess what took up most of your life was as a kid was soccer.
Yeah, definitely. It was basically all my life. Every I would say at least 5 6 days a week throughout, from the ages of 8 or 9 till I was
Yeah, wow.
20.
So what do you recall as your a big significant moment in your life? I know you said you've had a tough few years as well. Yeah, is there any big decisions that you've had to make or anything that
Um,
kind of didn't
I
go
would
plan?
Yeah, I would say the biggest decision I make was actually dropping out of college and kind of leaving the soccer route. Because, like I said, I mean, that was all I knew. And I made the decision myself to quit playing. Like, my parents, they were kind of pushing me to maybe go to a different school because they have the transfer portal in the U.S. now, and just kind of keep playing and at least stay in school. You kind of chase a degree, and I just kind of was like, no, I'm not really enjoying this anymore, and I kind of want to take a bet on myself more than anything, um, because I mean I didn't know I wanted to become a big runner at that time when I stopped, but I knew that that was definitely something out there that was more for me, and
Mm.
that if I took a risk on myself, that it would force me to get uncomfortable, get out of my comfort zone, and like do what I like said I'm gonna do. And so I would say that was probably one of the biggest decisions I've made in my life was dropping out of college, not really having a job lined up, not knowing at all what I want to do, and
Jeez.
just being like, hey, you know what? I'm gonna figure this out. I'm only when I dropped out, I'm only 20 years old. I still have a bunch of life to live. Like it's not gonna be the end of the world. God's got my back, and I'm gonna get through this.
Yeah. It's yeah, that's a huge decision to make because especially if you don't have anything lined up.
Yeah.
What would you say was what kind of motivated you to keep going and keep pursuing?
Um, I would say, I mean, I definitely think when you first start something, there's a little bit of motivation there. So, like when I first dropped out, I think I did have a little bit of motivation to kind of prove maybe people wrong and about if a lot of people think, oh, if you drop out of college, like you're dumb, like what are you doing? Like, whatever. And I kind of just had, I would say at the beginning, a little bit of motivation to prove people wrong. But I'm someone who believes in like, yes, motivation is real temporarily, but like discipline is a way bigger thing than motivation. Like motivation is temporary, discipline is something that's like forever, and you do it when you don't want to do it. And because like you're not always going to have
Yeah.
motivation, so I kind of let myself go, and that's when I started thinking back, like, hey, you're proving that all these people right, essentially, like a bunch of people want to see you fail. Like it's the reality of the world we live in. Like not everybody uh, is going to support you and want to see you win. And um, so I mean, I would say that motivated me, but the main
Mm.
thing I would say is like discipline over motivation and doing stuff even when you don't want to do it, because that's still days where, I mean, I've ran 100 plus miles, and that's still days where I look at my shoes before I run, and I got to go run 5 miles, and I'm like, I really don't want to do this today, and I'm staring at my shoes, but I know that when I'm done with it, I'm gonna feel better, and it's just something that you got to do.
Yeah. That's awesome. Yeah, that you've got to have a lot of just yeah, a lot of courage to be able to do something like that. Is there a high expectation in the US to have some sort of like college degree, like when you go into a
Um,
job?
yeah, I would say it definitely for most people, especially in the last, I'm gonna say 20, 30 years, it's definitely the more traditional, and gonna say like safe route. Like your parents, um, like tell you, oh, go get a degree. Like it doesn't really matter what degree you get, you'll be fine. Like they're gonna, it'll help you, whatever. But
Mm.
then a lot of more of, I would say, like the entrepreneur type minded people and the people that kind of, I would say, are maybe a little bit more unique and don't do everything by the book, or want to follow something so strictly or closely. Um, it's just not for everybody. For a lot of people, it helps because you're young. It gives you structure, but that was never really something I struggled with.
Mm.
It's like structure wise, like if I want to do something, I will do it. But if I
Yeah.
don't want to do something, you're not gonna make me do it. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. Do you have a plan now, like in terms of what you're gonna do with your future?
Well, I've been working. So after I dropped out, I kind of just moseyed around for a few months, and then I dropped out a little over a year ago,
Okay.
and then after about 2 3 months, I got a job working. So I work as an electrician. I'm like a helper,
Cool.
which it is a great trade to get into, but and I don't mind it, but my real passion is definitely in running, and
Mm.
that's what I've discovered over the past year and posting content, and trying to grow that side of things.
That's really cool. And I think I mean you've got your whole life ahead of you, so you don't need to have it all figured out. Like I was seeing I see like a performance coach guy, and I was talking to him about work, and he was like, why are you talking about 20 years time? He was like, that's 20 years away. Like you don't have to worry about it now. It things happen, if things evolve, you have a pathway, and yeah, he was like, you don't have to worry about too far in the future, and I think it's a good message to pass.
Yeah, definitely.
So, and is there anything else that you felt like was a significant moment in your life?
Um, I don't really think so. I mean, there definitely, if I think like forever, I definitely could, but I would say the most significant one was definitely dropping out of college with just because soccer being everything I've known since I've little and been my main motivational driver for all aspects of my life, for everything I did, for school, everything. It was I was there because of soccer. So when I stopped doing that, it was I had to find something else to really
Yeah.
challenge myself and kind of keep me in the arena in a sense.
I
Like
mean,
looking forward to something.
the reason why
Sorry,
we
go ahead.
connected was I was gonna say you won an ultra, so that, I'd say that's pretty significant.
Yeah. And that
How
was
is that?
that was crazy. That was actually my first ever ultra too. Um
Wow.
and that format being a last man standing, I mean, it's a format that's meant to supposed to break you, and it really is a mental challenge more than anything else.
Yeah.
Obviously, you gotta have the physical and stuff, but it's more mental than anything, and you gotta have strong mental. But just the race itself and everything was crazy. It rained the first 2 to 3 hours of the race. So the
Wow.
course, we're running on a farm. And so the course is just like completely covered in mud. You're running through mud. It's like you're running in sand, like mud's just sticking to your shoes. And I told my dad, like, funnily, a few days before or a week before the race, I was like, "Yeah, the forecast is supposed to rain." And my dad, like, already told me before I went. I had the goal. I was like, "Yeah, I want to get top 5. Like, that's my goal." And kind of going back, like, with self belief and stuff, my dad was like, "All right, well, if you want to go there and get top 5, then like, I'm not your guy to go and be your crew member." My dad's like, if you're gonna go there, like, we're going to win. Like, don't sell yourself short. Like, you don't know what you're capable of. So if you're not going there to win, like, I'm not going to help you.
Wow.
And that, like, just mentality from my dad, like believing in me that much, is definitely helped. And when I told him about the rain and everything a week before, he's like, that's better for you. More people are going to go out quicker. Like, it's going to be in their heads. Everybody's running in the same conditions. It sucks for them just as much as it does you.
Mm.
So if you can harness and be like, you know what, yes, it sucks, but everybody's going through it. So like, who cares? Like, you just got to do it.
That's nuts. And how, like, what was your training like? How often were you running?
So I peaked for this specific race. This was my first ultra. I peaked at about 100 mile week. Um, but I had done one 50-mile sim and one 33-mile sim, which is just a sim is just like you practice eating, running, stopping for a little bit, eating, going out and running again, maybe using the bathroom.
Mm.
Um, but yeah, like I said, this format, if people aren't familiar with it, it's 4.1 miles every hour on the hour until one person is left. And it
Right.
doesn't matter how long it takes. It could go I think the longest one ever has been about a little over 500 miles. I think they just said it a few weeks ago. Um, but
Wow.
like I said, I think ours would have went a lot longer if it wasn't for the conditions. The conditions definitely played a role. Obviously, it's a lot harder to run in mud than not in mud. Um, but I mean, it was a crazy experience. But I think in terms of like my training, I think obviously the mileage helped me, but I really think mentally I was just in the best space I've ever been in. And I think the 10 years of training at least 2 hours a day of some kind of physical activity for 10 plus years, basically, since I was young, I think that really was one of the biggest things. But just having such a strong aerobic base and I mean, yeah, obviously running some helps, but in a race where you're running slash walking and you're really more than anything battling your mind, like if you don't have a strong mind, you're gonna quit way because your mind's gonna quit way before your body does. Like when, and that's what I would tell
Yeah.
myself. Like if I'm sure you know of David Goggins. If David Goggins can run 100 miles around a track when he weighs almost 250, 300 pounds and is breaking ligaments and tearing a bunch of small muscles in his feet, that's no reason I couldn't. I told myself that's no reason as a super fit person I can't go out here and run at least 100 miles.
Yeah,
Like,
that's crazy. And were you how many minutes were you or were you varying it up in terms of that
um,
rest period in between?
yeah, so this is actually another like crazy part of the race is um so basically since the first night, so I'm gonna say about 10 hours into the race, I was winning every single lap. Like I was coming in first every lap, which probably isn't, I didn't need to do that, but I mean I was
Mm,
doing what works for me. So I was coming in each lap. My quickest lap I think was 41 minutes. And my slowest lap was maybe 51, 52 minutes the whole time, which is
wow.
unheard of really in that format. Most people are coming in between 50, I'm gonna say between no quicker than 48, between
Yeah.
normally about 48 and about 55. I'm gonna
Yeah.
say maybe even a little slower. But I mean, even when I was towards the end on that second day, we were about top three. I'm just coming in every lap the same time, and I think it was messing with the other opponents' heads and stuff too. Just seeing he's been running the same pace, if not faster. And we're on the second day. Like everybody else is slowing down, which is normally a sign, hey, I'm slowing down. If I'm getting the 55, 56, like I'm probably running out of juice. Like I probably don't got too much longer left. But I'm just chilling in the 40s, still running fast laps, like taking down food, going out to the start line for the course like 2 or 3 minutes early when they're showing up 20 seconds before. I'm just sitting out there like, are they gonna come? Like, like what's going on? Like trying to kind of get in their heads too. But just like I would say, mentally is the biggest thing with an ultra race or that kind of race. If you're not mentally there, and you think you want to win, then you don't have a chance because it is going to get hard. You know you're going to have to suffer during it, but it's the people that want to suffer and know that that's what it takes to be the best and to win. Those are the ones who are going to be able to win at the end of the day.
Yeah. We have it's here it's called Backyard Ultra.
Yep, that's
Um
the same thing. Yep.
Yeah, so and I was actually watching a friend, I was only a couple of months ago, he was participating in it as well. And what I noticed as well is the camaraderie. So people who are still out on the track, you become friends with them because you're doing the same lap over and over and over again.
Yep.
You kind of there, you're all there for each other because you're all in the same position, right?
Yeah, no, definitely. That definitely is one of the, I would say the my favorite things about the ultra format and specifically those the backyard last man standing. It's just a community aspect of it is way different than any kind of marathon, 10 mile or any other race I've done. Just with the support, because I guess because you're running a little slower too, you can kind of talk to people and kind of make friends, and you're doing it for so long that I even my race I had two or three guys who I had just met at the race who went out on the first day. They actually came back on the second day after they slept and stuff to come support me and
Wow.
stuff. And I was like, wow, like I just met these guys yesterday and they're coming back to support me. Like, this is crazy. Like, these are just good people
Yeah.
and stuff like that. But yeah, that's definitely a lot of camaraderie. And I would specifically say the ultra running community, everybody kind of looks out for each other and kind of wants to help each other, which is something I've never seen or been a part of until this race. And that was definitely something that I would think was one of the coolest things I've like ever experienced.
Yeah, for sure. I've talked about that. Like I've done quite a bit of road racing, and then a few of like ultras, and I notice like if you fall over in an ultra, people pick you up straight away. Like you don't have to worry about it, and everybody's there. It just feels like everybody's there together. Where sometimes in road races, the people have got their own times. They want to try and PB, so they kind of like skip you. But
Yeah,
yeah, ultra's got that. It's got a special feeling about it for sure.
definitely.
And so you did 138 miles.
Well, it was actually 141,
Oh,
but my
okay.
my Garmin broke or died on the last lap.
Oh no.
Unfortunately, of course, it had to die on the last lap. But yeah, it was 141.67 and 34 hours of running.
Wow. Did you sleep in between?
Um, no, so I didn't sleep at all. Actually, I think if because so what they say is like at least for the backyard last man standing. Like normally the older you are, kind of the more sleep you probably need a little bit. But I saw kind of saw something before. That said like you don't really want to force yourself to sleep. If like your body's like, hey, I want to sleep, then go to sleep for those 5-10 minutes, whatever, take a quick nap, but you don't want to force yourself to sleep. And I've still felt good um, on that second day. I think if it would have went into the second night, I think I definitely would have probably tried to sleep for maybe 5 or 10 minutes. But I was still feeling really good, really strong. I was taking some ketone energy, ketone IQ shots about every 4to 5 hours, just to kind of keep me alert, awake. Um, and I mean, yeah, I was just so locked in. I don't know.
The funny thing is on the pictures on Reddit, you just look so fresh. It's like you
Yeah,
don't look like you've just been running for 2 days.
yeah, no, seriously. Yeah, I mean, it was. I obviously surprised myself a little bit, but I also like got to give God glory for keeping me strong and keep me injury free because especially when it started getting hard. I mean, I would say it was a little bit hard throughout, but especially on that second morning, that second day when I think that was maybe 5, 6 of us left. Um, when it really started getting hard, we're over 100 miles by now. And you're really having to battle your mind. I would just pray to him to give me strength, to keep me strong, um, to just all of that. And he provided for me and kept me focused on my task at hand. And honestly, kept me like it's crazy to say, like I was at that race, I was there, but
Mm.
it was like my mind was so locked in that I wasn't there. Like, yes, I was suffering a little bit, but the amount that I should have been suffering and the way I felt like after it, when when I stopped, my adrenaline went away. And about 10 minutes after, my legs started to lock up, and I was like, oh my gosh, like I actually just did that. It was like everything was protecting me, and I was so tunnel visioned on the task at hand and the goal that it was like my mind and stuff wouldn't let me feel how my body actually felt.
Nice. Yeah, that's so cool. And yeah, like I just can't imagine all the other possibilities that you have ahead of you. I'm sure you've already got some races lined up.
Yeah, definitely. I'm super excited, and this one automatically qualifies you for I think nationals and worlds for backyard ultra. So should have
Wow.
some big races coming up, and I mean considering that's my first race, I still in that format. I mean, I still have a bunch to learn. That was stuff me and my parents we did right, and that was stuff that we learned from that race. And I'm sure we'll just keep on learning and keep getting better, which is really what it's all about.
Nice. And in terms of you as an adult now, have you had to change anything from as like you're the person that you were as a kid to who you are now? Like, is there anything that you're because of what's been happening in your life? Is there anything that you've had to change at all?
Um, I would say I had to like cut off, or I would just say like the amount of time that I spend with other people has definitely went down a lot. Um, and
Okay.
I would say I used to spend like I would hang out with like anybody or spend a lot of my time with people who weren't really adding value to my life or pushing me to be better. And I would say that's a big thing that I've over the past like year or two specifically, I've tried to like really if I'm hanging out with someone or I'm gonna spend my time with someone, then it's needs to be intentional and that needs to be a purpose there. And if they're not adding something or bettering me in a way, then I would say um, I'm probably not going to hang out with them or spend my time because I'm very busy. I'm very goal oriented, and like I said, like I got big goals for myself. I could have just won this race and been like, you know what, I did something that very small amount of people in this world will ever do. You know what?
Yeah.
That's enough for me. But that's not what I'm about. Um, I'm hungry for more. I'm hungry to see how good I can get. And with working, running, working out, I have a girlfriend now. That's just only so many hours in a day with wanting to get good sleep. Recovery is a huge process when you're running so many miles and working out. Um, so I'm really that's not enough time in the day for everything I need to do, and so that just makes it. I need to be so much even more intentional with just how I'm spending my time, who I'm spending it with, what I'm doing in those hours, and so I would say that's the biggest thing over the past. I'm gonna say 2 years is
Yeah.
having to realize not everybody that maybe used to be in your life um, has to be in your life anymore, and that's okay.
Yeah. Have you had to disappoint people? Like, and actually, have they realized and noticed that you're not hanging around as
Um,
much?
Yeah, I definitely say I definitely have to disappoint some people, and I think that's just the nature of wanting I guess something for yourself. And I mean, there's times where my friends or whoever, hey, come get a drink with us, come whatever, and I'm just I'm not really doing that anymore. It doesn't fit into my routine. It doesn't fit into my schedule. So if I go and have a few drinks, then I know my training isn't going to be as good the next day. I'm not going to feel as good.
Mm.
And like I said, it's those small choices that you choose to make day in and day out that over a course of your life either get you to where you want to be or you're going to be stuck and you're going to get to the end of your life and you're going to be dissatisfied with yourself. And it really just came down to a bunch of small choices that you made.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, it's a big culture, especially in the UK, is like going out on the weekends and like drinking, going to
Yeah,
clubs,
partying.
and
Yeah,
and we just like now I think about it, I just did it because everybody else did it, and it's obviously
yeah,
when you're young, it's you just follow the crowd and try and fit in
yeah,
as best as you can, but yeah, it's great that you've had the strength, especially at like your age as well, to be able to go, no, that's not me, and I'm okay with that.
yeah. Yeah, no, and that's like I said. I mean, I'm not. I don't think I'm like better than anybody else because I don't go out and drink. I mean, every once in a while, I'll still go out and have a drink, maybe after a big race or something, or a special occasion, a few times a year. But it's just not one of those things anymore where I'm like, you know what, I got to fit in with the Joneses. I'm gonna go out every weekend, every other weekend, and have a few drinks or go party. It's not really my identity anymore. And I realize, you know what, you can be different. You can be yourself. If you have a big goal that you want to get to, you got to take every step to get to that goal.
Yeah,
And anything that derails you from that goal is just hurting you. So
for
yeah.
sure. And so, fast forward to present day, present Walker. Who are you now?
I would say I'm a very driven individual. Um, and I would just say I'm at one of the happiest moments like in my life that I've ever been, and I feel like I finally like understand myself, my mind, my body, what I'm capable of, and I would say even uh, a year and a half ago or a year ago when I dropped out of college, I guess a year and a half ago when I dropped out of college, I was probably the unhappiest I would say I'd ever been. I was questioning God, a lot of things in my life, like why me, and I kind of had a victim mentality for a few weeks, which, or maybe even a month or two, that I've never really had in my life. And that's when I kind of realized, like, you can't be a victim to your situation. Like, if you want this life that you talk about, that you dream about, you are capable of getting it. It's just you are the person that has to choose to go and do these things each day. And it's not going to be easy, which a lot of people want shortcuts or whatever to get to where they want to be. And that's just not the case. Like, it's really the same thing with running. Like I said, that's still days where I look at my shoes and I don't want to put them on before I go and have to run. But at the end of the day, like, if it were easy, everybody would do it. and
Mm.
and that's why it's so cool, especially endurance sports. And I mean, I would say endurance sports specifically because it's not a team. I mean, most of the time it's not a team sport. You can't cheat endurance. If you're on a sports team, your team might win the game, and you might have played bad or played okay. You can kind of get away a little bit with mosey by whatever. But in terms of running endurance sports, like, it really is you versus you. If you're off that day, then it's gonna show. If you didn't train hard enough, it's gonna show. If you're not prepared, it's gonna show. So I think that was like one of the biggest things for me is getting into running and endurance sports specifically. Is like I finally had control over every single result that I got. Nobody else had
Yeah.
anything to do with how I was going to do on that day. Whereas in soccer, I played goalie, so I did have a big responsibility, and I was a lot of times a big reason whether my team would win or lose a game. But that's still so much stuff that goes into the game. But
Yeah.
I would
Are you
say me
scared of
being
anything now?
scared of anything. Um,
Yeah.
I would say probably one of my biggest fears is just not getting to where like I want to be and having the life that like I envision. I would say that's something that I'm a little scared of, but I also realize that I'm 21 years old and I'm already taking steps that um, a lot of people wouldn't even try and take, and so that definitely gives me confidence. Like that I'm just moving in the right direction. And I would say that would probably be one of the only things I'm scared of is just like not getting to where I want to be and being at the end of my life and like having regrets or being like, you know what, I could have did this better. I could have trained a little harder, um, stuff like that. But I would say that's like probably one of the only things I'm
Okay.
scared of is just letting myself down.
Yeah. Do you ever feel misunderstood?
Um, yeah, I would say I definitely feel misunderstood a lot of times actually.
Okay. In what way?
Um, I would say like just like people when I would just say because of like social media and stuff. Like obviously social media you're posting the most of the time you're just posting the best parts of your life and little snippets. And I would say like
Yeah.
it's very easy to look at someone's like page or someone's life through like a lens of social media and be like, oh my god, their life is so good. Like I want to be them, but in reality, like everybody has troubles, everybody has hardships. It really is just like how you respond to those, and you shouldn't ever wish for anybody else's like situation or life because like you don't know what they had to do to get there or like who they had to go through, what they had to do, and just because it like their life looks so good on the like outside, you don't actually know what's like going on behind closed doors or like in the inside.
For
But
sure.
I would definitely say like I might be a little bit misunderstood by others. Just like they might see me and think like, oh, he has everything together, which is just like the farthest from the truth. Like nobody actually has everything together. Like
No. And people will probably see your photos if you win an ultra and being like, "Oh, it's all right for him. He's fit and he's got this and got that." But like, they don't see the hard work that you put in behind the early
exactly.
mornings, the late nights,
Yeah,
the
exactly. The sacrifice and sleep, like that was time. Like I mean, right now, like I work at my work starts at 7:30. I wake up at normally between I'm gonna say most days between 3:45 and 4:30, and go hit a run before work. Then I go work. I work manual labor. Most days it's not too bad. It's electrician, but that's still times where you're having to dig or be outside. And right now there's a heat wave in the U.S. So it's 100 degrees. We're working outside all day. I get off work at about five, between 4 and 5. So I just work 8, 9 hours outside. Then I have to go hit. I normally hit a double, like another run after work, and
Wow.
then I'm going to the gym. Then I'm probably doing some sauna or something. Then by the time I get home, it's 9 o'clock. I woke up at 4 o'clock. It's 9 o'clock. Now I gotta eat, shower, and all I got time to do is eat, shower, and go to bed, and then do it all again the next day. So
Jeez.
it definitely does get a little monotonous. But yeah, a lot of people they see the results, but they don't see the actual work that it takes to get to something like that. And that was several months of doing that. Um, just early mornings, late nights, and it does really honestly get a little bit lonely doing stuff like that, because you really, all you have time to do, if you want to be the greatest at something like that, especially a sport like this, all you really got time to do, if it's not your career and job yet, is to run, work, eat, and sleep. And on the weekends, I normally have a little bit more time since I don't have to work, and so I normally look forward to the weekends, being able to take a little bit more time on my runs, my workouts in between. But during the week, I'm definitely normally pretty tired throughout most of the week.
I bet. Wow. Is there a message that you would give to your younger self now, if you had to?
um, I would probably say the biggest, like, if I could give a lesson to my younger self, I would just say, like, believe in yourself and, like, trust in God in all things, not just like the moments that you want to trust in Him, or like the times that it's going the way you think you want it to go. But even when you're going through a hardship or a battle, like, to realize that God is putting this in your life for a reason, and if you can trust Him through a hardship, that it's going to be even better when you get to that mountaintop. Because if you just got everything you want in your life instantly and automatically, it wouldn't really feel that good. Like, there's no reward to getting to that thing. But when you actually fail at something and you got to work so hard for it, and you want it so bad, then when you actually get that thing, it feels so much better.
Hmm. People don't, I think they forget about enjoying the process. It's all part of your story, right? It's not always about that end goal and achieving something at the end.
Exactly.
It's
No,
about the journey of getting there, right?
yeah, no, I completely agree. I would say the process is even bigger than the results, and the results are the thing. Just because of the way our society works, is the results are the flashy thing. They're the thing that the results get you. I would say, to the level people see the results, and that's what kind of gets you noticed, I would say. But I would say the process is definitely bigger than the results, because without the process, you're never gonna get the results. It's just not gonna happen.
Yeah. I never forget one of the ultras I was running. There was this huge hill, and I remember complaining to myself, thinking my legs are hurting, everything's hurting, and then I just kind of went back to this. This is, but you're here, like you paid for this, and you signed up to this, and you trained for this, and this is why, you did all that hard training because you want to do this, and then it just completely re-energized me.
Yeah, yeah, exactly. No, you really
So
gotta find your why and your will, in races like that, and just in life.
for sure. Is there anything that you wish for in life now?
I would say, like, one of my biggest goals, or something that I wish for, is I just want to be able to run full time, and kind of put all my beads in that basket, and just be able to really concentrate and focus on that, because I think that could really help me just um, take everything to the next level. Just having more time to be able to produce content, and just kind of do what I am passionate about and I enjoy, which is running now. Um, So I would say that's something that I wish for in the next at least 3 to 4 years is be able to just run and focus on um, that full time. That's a big goal of mine that I've discovered about basically in the past year, and with the way I'm going and the trajectory I'm on. I mean, don't I'm the only one who can make it happen, and the only one that can make it not happen. So I just got to keep stacking and
Nice.
keep staying in the process. But that's definitely a big goal for me.
That's cool. And what's your values in life?
My values.
Mm.
Um, I would say my values are just like being a like trustworthy and like reliable person. I want to like be some. I want to be remembered as like someone who would like give their shirt off their back to someone else. I want to be like remembered as someone who like listened to people and like loved everyone. And I just want to be really, I would say like one of my biggest values. Is I just want to be an inspiration to others that like others can see. You know what? Like if you actually want something, it is possible to go get it. Um, and you really are the one who is in charge of your own life. Like obviously, some people have it a lot better than others. And I'm very fortunate for the family that I have and the support systems I have. Um, but anybody can do what I did. It might take you longer than it took me. It might not be as easy as it was for me. It was still hard for me, but it might not not. It might be harder for you, but it is possible to do anything you want in this life. And so that's probably my biggest thing is just to be an inspiration to others to want to do hard things and want to better themselves because especially in the world we live in now, with that's easy everywhere. Like our our lives are conformed of how easy everything can be now, and it just keeps getting easier in everything we do. So in this life now, if you don't choose to suffer, like if you don't actively choose to put your body through like physical suffer, then like you're never gonna like when that like really hard thing comes up or that hard thing in your life that comes up, like are you gonna be prepared for that? Or when you really have to actually suffer, like you know what I'm saying? If that makes sense.
Yeah. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, and it's we there was a big marathon in Australia yesterday, um, and I did that marathon last year, and I was saying to my wife like crossing that finish line. There's like no greater feeling than that. There's just that feeling of I don't know. It's just there's something special in that, and it just kind of um, I guess it just brings everything together in a sense of like this is everything what I stand for. This is what I do. This is like my purpose, and just that feeling. It's just such a nice feeling.
Yeah, definitely. No, I completely agree.
And do you have any other like quirks or hobbies or maybe things that you do that people don't know about you?
Um, I would say, not really. I would say just like maybe a lot of people that don't really know me. I'm just like a very down to earth guy. Like I like talking to anybody, hearing anybody's stories. Um, I'm honestly, I don't really have too much other than I enjoy working out and I enjoy running. I enjoy spending time with people that I care about and people that I love. And like I said, I don't hang out with anybody. I don't spend my time with anybody. So if I do spend time with you, then you are an important person in my life. But I would say I love to talk to people. I love to hear other people's stories and kind of what motivates people. Like what is people's whys is one of the most interesting thing to me. Why do you get up in the morning? Like what motivates you? What drives you to be better? That always interests me. Um, but honestly, other than working out and running and working, that's about really honestly all I got time for with my goals and my ambitions.
Nice.
Yeah,
That's cool. Oh well, that's everything I wanted to ask you. But no, I'm really excited to keep following your journey. I follow you on your socials, and yeah, good luck for all the races that you're doing and everything that you have installed. I think when you mentioned your biggest fear, I don't think you've got anything to fear. You seem very determined and you have a lot figured out already at such a young age. So I think that the world is your oyster. You've got, yeah, nothing but great opportunities ahead of you. So I wish you nothing but the best.
Yeah, thank you so much for your time. This was a great experience, and you helped me like understand myself better too. Even because a lot of the questions you ask, we don't think about every single day or even at all. So it definitely helped me be more in tune with myself. Even so, but yeah, I'm super excited for the future. I mean, who knows what can happen?
Yeah.
This is honestly just the start of my journey, and that's what makes it so special. Is it really is just a start, and we've already accomplished so much in such a short amount of time. I mean, who knows where we'll be in another year or two time?
Yeah, who knows? Who knows? Well, hopefully, we'll get to meet at some point. I would love that. That would be really cool.
Oh, that would be so cool.
All right. Thanks again.